chosen one. At this very moment, there are people quietly standing on your side, believing in you more deeply than you have ever dared to imagine. And that confidence is preparing the way for an important turning point. I am Michael, and I have come to remind you that you are not alone on this journey. Even though there have been days when everything around you was so silent that you believed no one could see the effort you had made. Behind doors you have never entered, your name is being spoken with respect. In conversations you have never heard, someone is defending your character, recalling your dedication, and speaking of qualities that even you have sometimes forgotten. This is not the result of random good fortune, nor is it a reward that appeared overnight. It was formed through the days when you continued choosing what was right, even though no one was watching. Through the times you remained silent, rather than hurting another person, and through the steadfast steps you took when you had no one but yourself to provide encouragement. You once believed that delay meant you had been forgotten, but many good things require time to find their proper place before they can reach you. I have seen you standing before closed doors, wondering how much longer you would have to keep trying. I also know that on certain nights, you did not need a magnificent promise. You only needed one small sign that what you were doing was not meaningless. Today, I want you to know that silence does not always mean rejection. Some arrangements can only unfold while they remain outside your sight, because if you learned of them too early, you might become hasty, interfere, or allow anxiety to disturb what was still growing. While you continue living, working, and guarding your heart, meetings are being prepared, decisions are being considered, and certain people are recognizing within you what they previously overlooked. They are not looking only at the results you produce. They also see how you respond to pressure, how you preserve kindness in disappointment, and how you refuse to turn your pain into a reason to wound others. The confidence being placed in you is not based upon your ability to be perfect. It has been built through sincerity, patience, and your ability to preserve your values during difficult times. Someone has seen you being misunderstood without desperately attempting to defend yourself at any cost. They have seen you being underestimated while continuing to fulfill your responsibilities. They have seen you receive an opportunity to retaliate, and instead choose to walk away with dignity. Those seemingly small things have spoken on your behalf in places where you were not present. Character possesses a voice of its own, and sometimes that voice travels farther than any personal introduction. Therefore, do not be discouraged because recognition has not come immediately. Recognition that comes too quickly may see only the surface, but trust that is built slowly often develops deep roots and remains steady through every change. What you are receiving is not temporary attention, but the result of the consistency with which you have lived through many seasons. I know that you have been looked down upon. You have entered places and immediately sensed that you were not welcome. You have spoken only for your words to be ignored. Those experiences made you cautious, and at times you began making yourself smaller, before others had the opportunity to see who you truly were. You started believing that if you expected nothing, you could not be disappointed, and that if you never stepped forward, you could not be rejected. But, my child, do not allow old rooms to determine how you enter new ones. Not every place will treat you in the same way, and not every person will look at you through the eyes of those who once wounded you. A shift is taking place not to turn you into someone else, but to place you where your genuine qualities will be properly recognized. When an opportunity arrives, do not deny it merely because your past taught you to doubt yourself. Learn to receive something good with gratitude instead of immediately searching for reasons why it will fail. There are people fighting for you, but their fight does not necessarily resemble conflict. Sometimes it is someone mentioning your name while a position is being considered, someone refusing to believe a rumor, someone asking others to reconsider your contributions, or someone quietly creating an opportunity for your voice to be heard. They may never tell you what they have done, because sincerity does not always need to be announced. What matters is that you do not undermine their support by diminishing yourself or reacting impatiently. When you have not yet seen the result, continue preparing. When your name has not yet been called, continue training. When the door has not opened, protect your peace, instead of striking every door simply to prove that you are worthy. What is meant for you will require a mature version of you to preserve it, not merely a version of you that longs to be noticed. Every action you have taken with sincerity has left a mark. Each time you kept your promise when no one was checking, you placed another stone in the foundation of trust. Each time you chose calmness instead of reacting in anger, you demonstrated that you could carry greater responsibility. Each time you courageously left what was no longer right for you without spreading further bitterness, you created space for something better to enter. You once believed those choices were too small to make a difference. But it is what you repeatedly do in private that has formed the person you are today. Achievement may impress others for a moment, but character causes them to believe that something important can safely be placed into your hands. Those who trust you have recognized this. They see in you a steadiness that does not seek attention, a loyalty that does not require praise, and the ability to rise without turning yourself into a victim of circumstance. Therefore, do not continue doubting what you cannot yet see. Not every change announces itself with a loud sound. Some doors open very gently. Some offers arrive through an ordinary conversation, and some opportunities initially appear smaller than what you once prayed for. Remain alert enough to recognize them. Do not refuse a humble step, simply because you expected a dramatic leap. Many significant seasons begin with a simple decision. Answering an invitation, completing unfinished work, meeting someone new, or clearly explaining what you can contribute. You do not need to chase everything, but you must be ready when what is right finds you. That readiness is revealed through the way you manage your time, keep your word, develop your abilities, and refuse to allow insecurity to delay you. I want you to enter the coming days with a new posture, neither arrogant nor withdrawn, neither demanding recognition nor denying your own worth. Let peace be present in the way you speak, the way you listen, and the way you receive what is coming. When others support you, be grateful. When they offer an opportunity, prepare carefully. When they place their trust in you, respond with loyalty and responsibility. You do not need to become an entirely different person to be worthy of the new season. You only need to continue living according to the qualities that brought you this far, while courageously expanding yourself so that you can receive greater responsibility. My beloved child, someone believes in you enough to stand up for you, and that confidence is becoming a bridge connecting you to what once seemed too distant. Yet, I also want you to become the first person who stands on your own side. Do not wait until others confirm your worth before believing that you possess it. Do not allow old words of rejection to speak more loudly than the evidence your life has already produced. You endured difficult seasons while preserving kindness, carried misunderstandings without losing your dignity, and continued walking without knowing whether anyone was waiting ahead. Now lift your head. The coming changes may surprise you, but they were not formed in a single day. They have been prepared for a long time through the way you chose to live. I am beside you, reminding you to walk slowly but steadily, to receive without fear, and to trust that what has been built through sincerity will eventually find the right moment to shine. Do not hurry away from this moment, because what you are about to recognize may be the first outline of a future that is gradually taking shape before your eyes. I know that you have become accustomed to scrolling past promises because you waited many times without seeing anything change. But this time, I do not want you to act according to the old habit. Remain in stillness for a little longer, not because you must fear missing a miracle, but because your heart needs to remember that good things sometimes arrive very quietly, and if you move too quickly, you may pass by the clarity for which you have long prayed. A new chapter is being prepared. It has not yet revealed itself completely, but it has already begun to move. Uncertain days will not last forever. Silence is not the ending, and your waiting has not been as meaningless as you once believed. I am bringing you closer to an answer, so that you will no longer have to wonder whether you have been seen, remembered, or valued. There is someone who has tried to remove your image from their thoughts, but the more they attempted to forget you, the more they realized that the traces you left behind remained untouched. They tried to fill their time with work, conversations, and the noise around them. But whenever everything became quiet, the memory of you returned. It was not merely the memory of a face, but a longing for the peace, sincerity, and light you once brought into their life. Certain people caused them to believe that you were unimportant, and that this connection would fade like many other things. But the human heart is not easily persuaded by outside opinions, while an inner truth remains unaddressed. They may have appeared indifferent. They may have remained silent much longer than you hoped, yet that silence could not erase what was left unsaid. I do not want you to build your entire life upon one person's thoughts, but I do want you to understand that the value you gave did not disappear, merely because it was not immediately acknowledged within their mind. Words are taking shape that they previously lacked the courage to send to you. At times, they wrote several lines and then erased them. At other times, they opened the old conversation but closed it again, because they feared facing your response. They know that something must be made clear. It may be a confession that has been delayed, an apology that was never offered, or a truth they concealed because they believed silence would make everything easier. But, my beloved child, truth that is held back for too long does not make the pain disappear. It only widens the distance. Therefore, movement is taking place within them, urging them to step beyond their defensive shell. When those words come, you may be surprised. But do not allow emotion to rob you of discernment. Listen not only to what they say, but also to the way they accept responsibility for their previous choices. A sincere apology does more than sound comforting. It is accompanied by visible change. I know that you have lived for too long among unanswered questions. You wondered why everything was not made clear from the beginning, how someone could care and still choose silence, and why they could miss you yet refuse to approach. Those questions exhausted you and sometimes caused you to doubt your own intuition and worth. However, what is about to come into the light will not only help you understand them, it will also help you understand yourself. You will realize that you do not need to continue living in uncertainty in order to preserve a connection. You deserve honesty, clear words, and affection that does not require you to decode every silence. If this person truly wants to return to you, they must approach with maturity rather than incomplete signals. You may remain gentle without becoming permissive. You may remain open-hearted without sacrificing your peace to prove that you know how to love. The season through which you are passing is a time of transition. What was once scattered is gradually finding its proper place. Doors that appeared motionless are beginning to open, and what you believed was lost is returning in a clearer form. Your reputation does not grow merely because many people know your name, but because your character is being recognized through what you have faithfully done in silence. Your blessing is also not limited to an unexpected external event. It includes the ability to recognize what deserves to remain and what must be released. I allowed you to pass through silence so that you would no longer be carried away by every beautiful promise. I taught you to wait so that when something genuine arrived, you would know how to distinguish it from what merely stirred your heart for a moment before leaving confusion behind. Therefore, when the unexpected appears, do not immediately call it the final answer. Give truth enough time to prove itself. A message may arrive, a conversation may begin, or someone who once avoided you may step toward you with words you never believed you would hear. Yet, what matters is not the drama of that moment. What matters is whether you feel respected after the words have been spoken, whether the situation becomes clear or merely creates more questions. What comes from sincerity will not push you into competing, begging, or living in fear. It may move you emotionally, but it will also bring a deep sense of peace. I want you to understand that a miracle does not always mean that someone from your past returns. Sometimes, the miracle is that you have become strong enough to open the door only to what has truly changed. Keep your heart tender, but do not leave it without boundaries. You have learned much through being misunderstood, through the nights when you had to comfort yourself, and through the days when you continued moving forward without knowing how your story would end. Those lessons were not meant to turn you into a cold person, but to make you wiser in the way you love. If this person admits that they never forgot you, listen calmly. If they apologize, let forgiveness be guided by truth rather than loneliness. If they ask for another opportunity, observe whether they are willing to rebuild trust one step at a time, or simply expect you to forget everything because of a few emotional words. You do not need to punish anyone, but neither should you abandon yourself in order to preserve a relationship that has not yet become healthy. Now, I want you to remain present with yourself before waiting for anyone else to approach. Continue caring for your life, complete what you are building, and protect your mind from unnecessary speculation. Do not spend the entire day staring at your phone as though your future depends upon a notification. What is meant for you will not be confirmed by a message alone. It will be established through consistency, honesty, and actions that create peace. When you live fully in the present, no confession will be able to disorient you. You will receive what is good with gratitude while remaining clear-minded enough to refuse what no longer fits the person you have become. Therefore, my beloved child, your story is indeed preparing to move in a direction you never anticipated, but you do not need to become frightened or impatient. Allow everything to appear at the proper time and stand within the light of truth. What once confused you will be named correctly. The person who remained silent will have to choose between continuing to hide and approaching with courage. Meanwhile, you will no longer be someone who merely waits for an answer. You are becoming someone capable of choosing what brings peace and dignity. The turning point does not begin when another person sends you a message. It begins when you recognize that you no longer need uncertainty in order to feel loved. Remain steadfast in that realization, because what is gathering around you is not meant to pull you backward into the past, but to lead you toward a clearer future where love is no longer a puzzle, and your heart is cherished with the sincerity you have always deserved. The voices that once attempted to oppose you are gradually losing their influence, because words spoken in your defense are rising with clarity, strength, and convincing truth. You may not yet see this transition with your own eyes, but that does not mean it is not taking place. Conversations are happening while you are absent. Opinions are changing without requiring you to explain yourself. And important decisions are beginning to move toward fairness without your having to force them. I want you to understand that not every victory begins with a loud sound. Many of the deepest transformations begin in private rooms, within the hearts of responsible people, and during periods when you believe nothing is progressing. Paths that were once hidden are gradually becoming visible. Obstacles that appeared impossible are being removed, and your responsibility at this moment is not to panic and run everywhere in search of answers, but to keep your heart calm so that you do not abandon the position that has been prepared for you. Trust that even when you hear no sound, change is still unfolding steadily and securely. I know that waiting has made you weary. There have been days when you looked around and saw others moving forward while you appeared to remain in the same place. There were times when you wondered whether your perseverance truly mattered, because what you had planted had not yet produced visible results. But, my beloved child, precious things do not always grow above the surface. Some seeds must quietly develop deep roots before a green shoot appears. If you pull them out simply because you cannot see evidence of growth, you will destroy the very process for which you have waited so long. Therefore, do not allow impatience to lead you into hasty decisions, and do not let fear cause you to abandon what is right merely because it has not immediately produced a reward. You are closer than you realize to the moment when what has accumulated in silence will begin to appear as tangible results. Allow yourself to rest when necessary, but do not abandon the journey you have worked so diligently to build. What is supporting you does not come only from the abilities you display before others, but also from the character you maintained when no one was watching. One person, or perhaps more than one, has recognized your integrity through very small details. They noticed the way you kept your word when breaking it would have been easier, the way you remained steady under pressure without harming others, and the way you continued fulfilling your responsibilities even when you were not properly recognized. Trust like this is not formed through beautiful words. It is built through time, consistency, and quiet choices. You may believe no one noticed, but I tell you that what is genuine always leaves a mark. The trust others have placed in you is becoming a key that opens places you could never have entered by yourself. When that door opens, you will understand that none of your unseen effort was meaningless. Perhaps you still do not know who this person is, or what role they will play in the next part of your journey. You do not need to guess, because when the proper time arrives, the signs will become clear on their own. An unexpected introduction may occur. An invitation that appears ordinary may lead you toward a much greater door. Someone who was once silent may begin defending you, confirming your abilities, or giving you an opportunity that you could never have created alone. What once required tremendous effort to move only slightly will gradually begin moving toward you with less resistance. Nevertheless, remain alert so that you do not view every new thing through the eyes of old disappointment. The past may teach you caution, but it must not blind you to the good that is presently taking shape. Open your heart to receive what is new with trust and hope. I know that there were seasons when you felt forgotten, as though your name was always placed last. Your voice was never heard, and your effort was taken for granted. Certain opportunities appeared to pass directly before your eyes, leaving you to wonder whether you would ever be recognized according to your true worth. But those days were not the final period in your story. They taught you not to build your value upon temporary praise, not to allow one closed door to determine your entire future, and not to let your heart become bitter merely because you were required to wait longer than others. What once caused you pain is also helping prepare you for a position where maturity will be more important than talent and calmness, more necessary than the desire to prove yourself. Those experiences are creating a stronger and deeper version of you. The fight being carried out on your behalf is not merely intended to give you a temporary victory, but to place you in a position that reflects who you truly are. I do not want you to remain forever in spaces where you must make yourself smaller in order to be accepted. Nor do I want you to continue serving environments that only take from you and never show appreciation. You are being led toward places where your honesty will not be treated as weakness, your dedication will not be exploited, and your abilities can be used for a worthy purpose. The confidence someone has placed in you will contribute to that arrangement. Yet when the door opens, enter humbly, not with an attitude of proving that those who doubted you were wrong, but with the peace of someone who knows they have been prepared to serve more effectively. Remember that your true worth does not need to be established through rivalry or superiority. Protection has also been present throughout your journey in ways you did not previously understand. Certain plans failed and caused disappointment, but if they had unfolded exactly as you wished, they might have trapped you in a place that was no longer right for you. Some relationships suddenly became distant and broke your heart, but that distance prevented you from continuing to trust someone who did not know how to care for what you offered. Certain doors closed just as you believed you were about to enter, and you interpreted that as rejection, when in reality you were being redirected away from a path that could have exhausted you. Not everything you lost was a punishment. Sometimes loss itself was a protective boundary that prevented you from building your future upon an unstable foundation. Learn to view what you have lost from a wider perspective. Therefore, do not return and strike against doors that have already closed, merely because you fear there is no path ahead. I am leading you away from what was not meant for you and bringing you closer to what genuinely fits. When the movement becomes clearer, you will understand why certain people had to leave, why some plans needed to be delayed, and why you passed through seasons that seemed to provide no answers. Those changes were not intended to leave you disoriented, but to correct your direction. Remain steady, because when new opportunities begin appearing one after another, you will need discernment to choose wisely, humility to learn, and quiet strength so that you are not overwhelmed by what you once desired. Every step is drawing you closer to your true purpose. I also remind you not to allow changing circumstances to change your heart. It was your patience, sincerity, and the way you remained steadfast during difficult seasons that created trust in the people who were observing you. When you are elevated, do not forget how you treated others when you possessed very little. When you are given authority to make decisions, do not become cold like those who once wounded you. When doors begin opening widely, do not allow pride to destroy the character that brought you there. True success is measured not only by where you arrive, but also by the person you become throughout the journey. What is coming requires a heart broad enough to receive without possessing, steady enough to preserve without arrogance, and compassionate enough to use what it receives to strengthen others. Always keep your inner being clear and steadfast. Therefore, continue standing firmly in truth. Even when you cannot yet see the complete picture, do not allow one silent day to convince you that everything has stopped. Do not let one delay cause you to believe you have been rejected. The wheels are still turning, connections are still being formed, and good words about you are still reaching the places where they need to be heard. You are not being supported by coincidence, nor are you moving forward merely through luck. Every lesson, every redirection, and every person who appears at the proper moment is helping guide you toward the right place. I preserved you during the days when no one understood the battles you were facing, and I will continue to remain with you when what was quietly prepared begins to blossom. Preserve that sincere heart, because it will help you enter the new door without losing the purity, peace, and dignity that have been formed within you. When you look back, you will recognize that everything unfolded at the proper time, in the proper way, and for the greatest good prepared for you.